I need you to believe me when I say this. I wasn't a crazy fangirl, and I wasn't hallucinating. I was fully awake, fully conscious, and I know exactly what I saw sitting on my couch that night. It looked like Billie Eilish, every detail perfect, except for the eyes. Those eyes were wrong. They were pitch black, like two holes cut out of reality. I'm a Muslim woman in my early 20s, living alone for the first time. I moved out for university and my parents were proud but worried. My mother kept repeating, "Don't forget your adhkar, your morning and evening supplications. The Prophet ﷺ taught us them for a reason." I nodded, promised, and then, like most people, I got lazy. That night, the campus group chat was exploding because Billie Eilish had posted some weird aesthetic Instagram story. Green lights, glitchy music, reversed whispers. People kept sharing it, making edits, slowing down her voice and saying, "Bro, this sounds demonic." I didn't think much of it. I'd liked some of her songs before I started taking my deen more seriously, and even then, some of the imagery made me uncomfortable. But that night, I let a compilation play in the background while I cleaned my tiny apartment. The time crept past midnight. My window showed only my own reflection and the faint orange of the streetlight outside. Everything felt too quiet between the tracks, like the silence had a weight. I remember glancing at the digital clock on my stove, 12:47 a.m. I should have turned everything off and gone to sleep. Instead, I opened my phone and fell into that endless scroll. Edits of Billie in oversized clothes, hair half dyed, close-ups of her eyes, slowed voices, reversed audio. Someone had overlaid one with this eerie bass line, and for no good reason, I let it keep playing out loud. That's when the power flickered. Not a full blackout, just that stuttering dimming, like the apartment was taking a shaky breath. My laptop screen glitched. The video froze on Billie's pale face, eyes half-lidded. The sound stretched into this long, ugly drone, then cut off. Silence swallowed the room so fast my ears rang. I stood there, dish towel in hand, staring at the frozen frame. Billie's eyes on the screen looked normal, blue, a little tired, but I suddenly felt very aware that I hadn't recited Ayatul Kursi before Maghrib or saying my evening adhkar. I remembered the hadith in Sahih Bukhari about the shaitan fleeing from a house where Surah Al-Baqarah is recited. I hadn't even read a page that day. I was basically sitting in the dark with the door wide open. I went to the light switch, clicked it off and on again. The lamp blinked back to life. I exhaled. "Okay, chill," I muttered. "It's just bad wiring." I closed my laptop, decided that was enough internet for one night. The room felt a bit warmer, almost stuffy. I was tired. I turned toward my small grey couch to grab my phone. And that's when I saw her. There was someone sitting on my couch. For half a second, my brain didn't process it as wrong. She was just there, leaned forward, elbows on her knees, fingers loosely clasped. Oversized baggy hoodie, loose shorts, heavy boots planted on my rug. The exact hair, half black, half that washed out green. Head tilted down so I couldn't see her face fully, like a promo shot had stepped off the screen. My thoughts scrambled. Did I leave the door unlocked? Is this some sick prank? Then she slowly lifted her head. The clothes, the jawline, the lips, the small nose, they were perfect. It was her. But the eyes were solid black, from lid to lid, like spilled ink had filled them. No white, no iris, no reflection, just a depth that didn't end. As soon as they met mine, the temperature in the room crashed. I could feel the cold race up my bare arms, pinpricks raising all my hairs at once. My breath came out in a faint cloud. My legs almost gave out. I grabbed the back of the chair to stay upright. She smiled, or it smiled, a small, almost shy curve of the lips. The smile looked human, but it didn't reach those eyes. I couldn't hear the street outside anymore, or the hum of the fridge. There was only a high, thin ringing in my ears. My tongue felt dry. Who are you? I meant to sound firm, but it came out cracked and small. She blinked slowly, then spoke. The voice was the most disturbing part. It was Billie's voice, that soft, husky monotone, but layered with something else underneath, like a second voice, lower, echoing the same words a fraction of a second after. "You called me," she said. "You've been watching me all night." My heart dropped. I hadn't said any names, no rituals, nothing, just harmless videos, right? I remembered Ibn Taymiyyah's words that jinn can appear in the form of humans and animals, and that they are attracted to music, gatherings of heedlessness, and places empty of dhikr. The realization hit. I hadn't literally called her, but my neglect had opened a path. I tried to step back, but my body felt rooted. My chest tightened. I whispered, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim." Her smile twitched. She leaned forward a little more, elbows riding her knees. The air grew colder, so sharp it hurt to inhale. I watched the thin fabric of my curtain stiffen slightly, like frost was forming. "Don't do that," she murmured, with a hint of amusement. "You like me. I know you do. You used to listen to me in the dark." The second voice under hers dragged on certain syllables, turning dark into a long, ugly scrape. I froze. She was right. Years ago, in my low Iman days, would lie awake listening to songs that made me sink deeper into sadness. It was like she'd been there, or something had. I forced my lips to move. Allah, la ilaha illa huwa al-hayy al-qayyum. I started Ayat al-Kursi, voice trembling. At the first words, her head jerked slightly, like someone yanked an invisible string attached to her brow. The black eyes narrowed. The air around her seemed to ripple like heat on asphalt, except the room was freezing. She tilted her head, expression twisting into something between annoyance and hunger. "Why?" she asked, the double voice now more obvious, demonic, cracking on the word. "You invited me. You watched. You listened. You opened the door." I thought of the ayah. Indeed, he, Shaitan, has no authority over those who believe and rely upon their Lord. I clung to it like a lifeline. My jaw clenched, and I pushed the words out louder. "La ta'khuduhu sinnatun wa la naum." My teeth chattered from the cold and fear. She suddenly moved, not a normal human shifting, but a fast, glitch-like jerk. One instant she was leaning forward, the next she was perched on the edge of the couch, closer, knees almost touching my coffee table. I didn't see the transition. It was like a video skipping frames. The black eyes were inches closer now. I could see no reflection of myself in them, nothing, just darkness. My vision tunneled. I tasted iron in my mouth. She whispered, "You're all alone here. No father, no brothers, no ruqya." The echo voice under her words rolled like distant thunder. "Just you and me." I wanted to scream, but my throat locked. Tears stung my eyes. In the depths of my terror, a hadith surfaced, that reciting the last few verses of Surat al-Baqarah at night would suffice a person. I hadn't memorized them fully, but my mother had drilled some parts into me. My lips fumbled. "Amana ar-rasulu bima unzila ilayhi min rabbihi wal mu'minun." The Arabic cracked, but I pushed on. Her face flickered. Her features, the familiar celebrity face, rippled like water disturbed by a stone. For a fraction of a second, I saw something underneath. Stretched skin, too tight over cheekbones, a mouth open wider than it should, packed with too many teeth, and those eyes, those endless, depthless black pits. Then the Billie face was back, wrong smile plastered on. She hissed, an animal sound not meant for human lungs. "Stop, or I'll..." I didn't let her finish. I raised my shaking hand and pointed toward her, voice suddenly ripping out of me, stronger than I knew I had. "A'udhu bi kalimati Allahi tammati min sharri ma khalaq." The words tore through the silence like a blade. Ibn al-Qayyim had written about the power of these words, that they protect from every evil creature. I was clinging to that scholarship like a drowning person to driftwood. Her reaction was immediate. The temperature plummeted so violently I could hear a faint cracking sound. My water glass on the table formed a thin web of ice along its rim. The lights dimmed to a sickly yellow. Her body jerked again, but this time it wasn't a smooth glitch. It was a violent, unnatural contortion, like something inside was trying to pull away from something outside. Her neck twisted too far to the left, her jaw tensed, and from her throat came this layered, choked scream. Billie's voice cracking on high notes, buried under a roar like a wild animal. "You don't even pray on time," she spat, words warping. "You think he'll answer you now?" The accusation hit like a slap, because it was true. My Fajr had been late that very morning. Shaitan weaponized my own sins against me in that second. My faith wavered, just for a heartbeat, and in that heartbeat she surged. She was suddenly inches from my face. I could smell something, damp earth, old smoke, and a sweetness gone rancid. Her skin up close looked too smooth, like wax. Her black eyes swallowed everything. For an instant, just one horrifying instant, I felt this pull, like gravity in reverse, dragging my mind forward into that darkness. It was like the promise of oblivion, of escape from guilt and fear and responsibility, a brow silent void. I understood, in that sick, dizzy moment, what scholars meant when they said Jinn whisper to our desires. It wasn't about fandom or music. It was about distraction, despair, and distance from Allah, packaged in a familiar face. Somewhere beneath the freezing terror, resentment, and shame, a tiny flame of defiance sparked. Maybe it was my mother's dua. Maybe it was the barakah of a half-remembered Quran class. I sucked in a shuddering breath. Hasbi Allahu, la ilaha illa huwa, alayhi tawakkaltu, wa huwa rabbul arshil azim. I spat out, my voice breaking. Allah is sufficient for me. There is no deity except Him. On Him I rely. Her favors convulsed, the celebrity mask shredded. This time, it didn't flicker back. The skin rippled, bubbled, darkened. The mouth tore open wider, jaw unhinging with a wet crack. A shriek burst out, not just in my ears, but in my bones, rattling them. The room blurred at the edges. Every object seemed to pull away from her, shadows stretching. Then, with a sound like wind slamming a door, she vanished. No Fafay dissolving into smoke. One moment, that nightmare form was in front of me. The next, there was only empty air. The temperature rushed back so suddenly my skin burned. The sounds of the fridge, the faint traffic outside, the clock ticking, all crashed into my ears at once. My legs gave out and I collapsed onto the floor, sobbing, shaking so hard my teeth clicked. I don't know how long I stayed there. Eventually, with clumsy fingers, I found my phone and called my mother. I didn't even say salam properly. I just choked out, "Mama, read over me, please, please." And she did. Surat al-Fatiha, Ayat al-Kursi, the last 3 surahs, her voice cracking but steady, bridging the miles between us. That night, I stayed awake until Fajr, every light on, reciting whatever Quran I could remember, playing Surat al-Baqarah softly from my laptop. The couch sat there, harmless and grey, but I couldn't look at it without my stomach twisting. I knew what I'd seen, and I knew now how thin the barrier really was when we strip ourselves of Allah's protection. People laugh when Muslims warn about music, about images, about heedlessness. They say it's just art, just expression. But I have seen with my own eyes how something from Alam al-Ghaib can slip through the cracks we make with our own sins, wearing a face we trust. Jinn are real, their deceptions are real, and they don't knock politely. I don't tell you this to entertain you. I tell you because one night of carelessness, one session of scrolling, almost let something sit comfortably in my living room, looking like a person I once admired. Never leave your heart or your home unguarded. Recite your adhkar, cling to the Quran, and remember, indeed, Allah is the best of protectors.